right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's workout, we've got a nice wacky one for you today. We're going to be doing what we call a split ladder workout. We're going to be doing a descending ladder 21-15-9 of calories on the rower, box jump overs, and wall balls, along with a 3-2-1 on rope climbs. And we may be looking at this thinking, I don't have half of this equipment. How does he want me to do this from home? Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it, right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm-up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, love yourself. One of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live your best life is through the Committed Club Academy. And in the Academy, we dive deep and fully understand this program. Not just the workouts, but also the science behind all the habits that we go after. Why drink water? Why plan our meals? Why get enough sleep? What do we do in these workouts? Why does it work so well? Let's move on to the wrist wave here. And let's hear first from Pippi, a multi-semester veteran of the Academy. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and how does the Academy help you to stay on track?
I'm Tammy, and I'm from South Florida, and I really love the Academy. Like you said, I've been a number of times, and I love it. The last few times I've been, it fit in my schedule for me to do it on demand, which I really appreciated. I was able to have the recording, and when I was prepping for dinner, I'd put my little iPad up there and be able to watch sections of it each night, and so that really fit into my schedule, and I loved it. And so, like you said, there's a lot of things that we learn, that a lot of research, like you said, goes into finding the right information and making sure, because we know you can Google all kinds of stuff out there, but you're not always going to get the right answer. So we know that you take really meticulous care in finding what's accurate and what's going to work for us. And that's worked for me really well. And I love that. Thank you for all the work you do for that.
And thank you for being a part of all that. All this work wouldn't be for anything unless we had people benefiting from the program. So thank you, Pippi. Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees into chest, or if it works better, we could do some high elbows like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Twin One. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and how does the Academy help you to stay on track?
Hi, I'm Denise. I'm in New York. I've been to the Academy several times, and it definitely keeps me on track. This program is made to make sure you succeed. So every time you go to the Academy and you review the information, it definitely gives you good reminders. It helps me to get back on track, because all of us will sometimes go like a couple of steps back in terms of our health. We stop drinking as much water or getting enough sleep, and going to the Academy again sort of re-cements what we have to do. So it definitely makes sure that I do what I got to do. So I really appreciate the program and the way it makes sure that we succeed.
Wise words from a veteran of the Academy. So thank you so much, Twin One. And let's move on to the calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we could do some wrist extensions like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and how does the Academy help you to stay on track?
Hi, my name is Renisha. I'm from Georgia. The Academy has helped me to stay on track because every time you go, you get reminders of what you probably need to work on. You might learn something new. But this last time, it helped me with the on-demand option because at that time I was recovering, and so to have that ability to go and look at the recording later, and you still participating, you still giving your answers, still giving your input, and it make it seem like you're still there. Other than that, you probably would feel like you're not part of it if that option wasn't there. So it really helped me to be able to keep up with everyone and to feel like I was still part there when I was able to come. I did, but having that there, it made me feel like I was still part of the group.
And that you were. Thank you so much for making wise use of the on-demand feature, which is really a necessity as we get busier and busier in our everyday lives. Let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks, or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so the Committed Club Academy is the best way to fully understand this program and to give us unshakable resolve and discipline to go after these goals. If any of this sounds interesting to you, please click the link that's in this video or message me directly to find out how to enroll next semester. We're going to go ahead and take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first move that we're doing is the pigeon. And let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate the pigeon for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the pigeon is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's sink into the pigeon. So couple pointers here. We're going to be laying face down. We're going to have the one leg up and across the chest, other leg back. And we are sinking into this pose here, which activates the glutes, relieves issues that might be going on with the IT band, and overall promotes good squat positioning. And let's go ahead and switch legs here. We're going to get the other leg up and across the chest, the other leg back. And like we just mentioned, the pigeon helps us to improve our squat positioning. We always talk about chest up, shoulders back, knees out to the side. And that is actively what we are working on here in this pigeon pose. Next, we're going to do some reverse plank ups. And let's go ahead and have Pippi demonstrate 2 reps of the reverse plank up for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the reverse plank up is going to be some reverse flies like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the reverse plank up together. So a couple things to keep in mind here. It could be that this is a bit hard on the wrist, in which case we may choose to do the glute bridge, just like Pippi is doing here. We're going to be laying on our back, pulling the feet in super close, squeezing those glutes, getting the hips as high as we can, getting higher and higher each rep. But if we're doing the reverse plank up as prescribed, we've got those hands to the side, squeezing those glutes, getting the hips as high as we can in the air, getting higher and higher each rep. So good job here on the reverse plank up or the glute bridge, whichever is better for our circumstances. Next, we're going to do the dynamic calf stretch. And let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the dynamic calf stretch for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, we're actually going to do some dynamic elbows like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the dynamic calf stretch on each side. So it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit of a challenge or hard on the wrist. In which case we may choose to do this off of an inclined surface. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple reps here. It could be off of a sofa, off a counter, or even off a wall. But we're going to get in an inclined pike position, bending the one knee, pulling that back heel into the ground. But if we're doing this off the ground as prescribed, we've got those hands on the ground, we are hiking the hips up into the air, bending the one knee, pulling that back heel into the ground. And so good job here on this dynamic calf, whichever version is better for us. Next, we're going to do some air squats, and let's go ahead and have Pippi demonstrate 2 reps of the air squat for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the air squat is going to be some reverse curls like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of the air squats. So on this air squat, at the start, the feet are going to be shoulder width apart. And we're going to have the chest up, shoulders back. And we're going to initiate by sending those hips back and down, pushing the knees out to the side throughout the movement until we get those hips all the way down below the knees. And then we are driving through the heels until we get all the way back up to a fully standing locked out position. Now, it could be that getting those hips all the way down is a challenge for us, in which case we may choose to do some assisted squats. And let's have twin one demonstrate a couple reps here. We could use a chair or a footstool or a medicine ball or however much assistance is needed, but we are going to sit to stand, preferably, if possible, without the help of those hands. So good job here on these squats. Next, what I'd like you to do is, if you happen to have a light ball, such as a medicine ball, or a basketball, or a beach ball, or even a pillow, let's go ahead and grab that. If we don't have anything light, then we can grab a super light dumbbell, or a shoe, or a teddy bear, or something along those lines. But it's got to be super light. So with this ball-like object in hand, we're going to do some med ball thrusters. And let's go ahead and have Pippi demonstrate 2 reps of the med ball thruster for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that med ball thruster is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of the med ball thruster together. So on this thruster, we are holding that ball at chest level. We are squatting all the way down, standing, and then pressing that up and back at the top. Now, just like on the air squat, it could be that we were doing some assisted squats, in which case we can continue to do that here. Let's have twin one demonstrate, and we can use either a chair, a footstool, or whatever we needed for assistance, but we are going to sit to stand, press that out at the top. And so good job here on these med ball thrusters, whatever version is better for us. Finally, we're going to do some step overs, and let's have Pippi go ahead and find her nice sturdy surface that she feels comfortable stepping up onto and down on the other side. And let's see 2 practice reps of the step over. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that step over is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the step over. Now, a couple key things here. We need to have a nice sturdy surface that we feel comfortable stepping up onto and perhaps even potentially jumping up onto if that's what we plan to do. If not, no worries. But this surface must be sturdy and it must be a height that we feel comfortable with. So it could be a footstool, it could be a step ladder, it could be a chair that is firmly secured, just like twin one setup over here. It could even be some stairs if that's the most practical solution for us, as long as the stairs, of course, are big enough to support repetitive stepping. But whatever the case, we just need to make sure that we feel comfortable and that that object is sturdy and will not move, whether we are stepping up or jumping up onto it. So good job on these step overs. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 4 movements that we are doing in today's workout. The first movement is going to be the row. So if you happen to have a rowing machine, such as a Concept 2 rower or any other type of rower, what I'd like you to do is to hop on that machine and put it on the lowest damper setting if you have different settings for resistance. And I'd like you to do a 1-minute practice row. And that's going to help us to determine what's a good amount of calories to scale to. We're going to go through different options for scaling in today's workout. But most of us don't have these machines. We are the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the row that helps us to preserve the stimulus of driving those legs and pulling on that handle. We're going to do some kettlebell sumo deadlift high pulls. So if you happen to have a light kettlebell, let's go ahead and grab one. And by light, we mean 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. And if we don't have a kettlebell, then any other light object can do. It could be a light dumbbell, it could be a shoe, a teddy bear, a empty laundry detergent jug, water jug, something along those lines. So with this light object in hand, let's look on as Twin One demonstrates the sumo deadlift high pull for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that sumo deadlift high pull is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull together. So on the sumo deadlift high pull, that object is going to start on the ground in between the feet. We're going to have those hips super low, but the chest is up. We're looking straight ahead. And we're going to come to a fully standing position before we pull with those arms at the top. We want to think legs first, then arms. And we want those elbows high and outside, keeping that kettlebell close to the body. So good job on these sumo deadlift high pulls. The next move that we're doing in today's workout is box jump overs. And let's go ahead and have Pippi demonstrate 2 reps of the box jump over for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're going to grab a light weight, such as a light dumbbell, or perhaps even that light kettlebell, if we still have it. And that box jump over is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the box jump over together. So a couple things to keep in mind here. It could be that, hey, jumping is just not my thing. If that's the case, we may choose to continue to do those step overs. Let's have Pippi remind us what these step overs look like. So we're just going to step both feet up to that object, step down on the other side. But to the extent that we do feel comfortable jumping, then we're gonna have a nice, good 2-foot takeoff, land firmly on that object. If we have room to step down on the other side, then we're gonna step down on the other side. Or perhaps, for instance, like twin one, we happen to have a setup where we are jumping into the direction of security onto a wall and then perhaps stepping down to the side if that's the case. Or we could just step back in the same direction if that's what we need to do. But let's find an object, of course, that is sturdy, that is not going to move, and that we feel comfortable jumping or stepping to that height. So good job on these box jump overs or step overs, whatever we choose to do. The third move that we're doing today is the wall ball. So if you happen to have a soft ball-like object, let's go ahead and look on as twin one demonstrates a couple wall balls. Now, if we don't have a soft ball-like object or a wall that we feel comfortable throwing and catching, then we can actually do some dumbbell thrusters. And let's look on as twin one demonstrates. We're actually going to be alternating arms each rep like this. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those wall balls are going to look like this. Optionally, if we're feeling adventurous, and we want to throw and catch, that is fine as well. So let's everyone join in here. Let's do 10 wall balls or 10 alternating single arm thrusters. So on this thruster, we are getting all the way down, getting those hips below the knees, locking out the arm overhead before switching hands up top. And practicing that switch is super important. We'll get more efficient with that with time. Now, if we were doing some assisted squats earlier, then that's completely fine as well. Let's have twin one show a couple assisted reps here. And so we're going to sit and stand and then pass that object overhead. And using as much or as little assistance as needed. A good job on these wall balls or alternating thrusters, whichever option is better for us in our circumstances. And lastly, in today's workout, we're going to be doing some rope climbs. So if you happen to have a 15-foot rope that you can hang and that is super secure, then that's a great option. But most of us don't have a rope. We're going to do an at-home modification that preserves the stimulus of the skill and the time it takes to climb that rope. We're going to be doing some Turkish get-ups or latest stands. And so first, let's just demonstrate the latest stand. And let's have Dean demonstrate this latest stand, starting from a laying down position on the ground, and then getting to a standing position, and that will count as one rope climb. Now, the Turkish get-up, let's have Pippi demonstrate here, is a little bit more of a higher skilled movement. We're going to start with the same fist and same leg in the air, and then we are progressively standing, looking at that object, and then that move is finished after we get back down to the ground again. And this is a higher skill movement that definitely takes some coordination. And let's see one more rep on the other arm. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're actually with 2 dumbbells going to do an Arnold press from the ground, which is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's practice 5 either lay to stands or Turkish get-ups without weight at this point. So these Turkish get-ups especially are definitely a move that we want to slow things down. And of course, this is why we provide the movement demo videos. We can study this beforehand and see step by step what we need to do. But we're laying on our back. We've got the same fist, same leg in the air. And then we're going to start by getting up to the elbow and then the hand and then the hips rise. And then we sweep that leg and then we stand. And another very important point is looking at that fist the whole time. We don't want to look down, away, or anything like that. And the Turkish get-up is finished after we lay back down on the ground. If this is kind of messing with our brain and our coordination, we can certainly do those lay to stands. Let's have Dean remind us one more time. We're going to be laying on our back. And then we're simply getting up to a standing position, doing whatever we need to do to get standing. And we're going to keep going back and forth like that. But good job on these Turkish get-ups or lay to stands, whichever is better for our circumstances. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight in today's workout, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 4 to 6 practice reps of each move at a time, adding a little bit of weight each time until we get to the weight that we want to use for the workout. But if we have not been earning badges, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. It is very important that we have the right form and consistency with all our habits before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. Let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. It's so important. I want you to listen to your music. You don't have to listen to my music. If you want to blast some David Hasselhoff, then you can feel free to do so, or whatever is close to your heart. But whatever the case, you're going to get your playlist queued up. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? There's certainly a lot to keep track of today. It's a 3-round workout, but we've got different rep schemes on different moves. It's definitely going to be very important that we have the workout written down close by for reference. So if you've got that whiteboard, let's go ahead and see those whiteboards on screen. And let's see how much of a teacher's pet you are. So here we go, guys. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer. And we're about to do this split ladder 3-round workout. We're going to be doing 21, 15, 9 of calories on the row, box jump overs, and wall balls, and 3, 2, 1 of rope climbs. So in simple terms, most of us at home, we're going to be doing 21 kettlebell sumo deadlift high pulls, 21 box jump overs, and 21 of those wall balls or the alternating single dumbbell thrusters, if that's what we choose to do. followed by 3 of those Turkish get-ups total, or 3 lay to stands. In the second round, we'll be doing 15 of each of those kettlebell sumo deadlift high pulls, jumps, and alternating thrusters, and then only 2 of the Turkish get-ups. In the last round, we're doing 9 of the sumo deadlift high pulls, 9 box jump overs, 9 alternating thrusters, and 1 Turkish get-up to finish. Now, if we do happen to have a rower, then let's remember to scale those calories accordingly. We're looking for that first row to take no longer than about 90 seconds. And so in that 1 minute row there, were we able to get at least 15 calories on that row? If not, then we may want to consider scaling the calories of just the row down. Instead of 21, 15, 9 on the row, we could choose to do maybe 15, 12, 9, or perhaps even 15, 10, 5. Remembering that the scaled calories are just for the row, the rep scheme on the other movements stays the same. And then, of course, let's make sure we use what we have, do what we can. And let's make sure we're not adding weight, especially to that Turkish getup, unless we've been earning badges and unless we've been practicing and really feel confident with that move. So your score is going to be the time it takes you to get through these 3 rounds of descending reps of kettlebell sumo deadlift high pulls, box jump overs or step overs, alternating dumbbell thrusters or wall balls, and the Turkish get-ups or lay to stands, whatever version is better for us. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown. And then I'm going to highlight twin 1 to get us going. So here we go, guys. 21 sumo deadlift high pulls. 21 box jump overs, 21 alternating thrusters, 3 Turkish get-ups, and then it's all downhill from there. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go, and we are off. We are hitting the sumo deadlift high pulls. Love to see Mighty Mouse up and out the seat, doing some more standing version of these movements. But we are keeping it close, driving those legs, getting the elbows high and outside. And we've got Pippi on the rower. Let's hit that full lean there, Pippi. We're leaning all the way back, punching that handle all the way in. Let's get a full stroke, full range of motion. Legs, then arms, but let's remember that lean. We're leaning back, we're leaning in. We're finishing that pull, we're punching the handle in. And then after these 21 sumo deadlift high pulls, onto these 21 box jumps. So twin 1 already on these box jumps. Iron Man Dean finishing off the high pulls. Mighty Mouse on these, the seated version of the box jump overs. And Pippi chipping away, finishing off that row. And so nice work here, guys. Let's do this. Let's do this. And let's remember, if we do happen to have a rowing machine, we are looking to finish that first row in just under 90 seconds. And on that note, there goes Pippi, just about finishing and moving on to these jumps. So let's remember to focus and respect each and every jump here. If we choose to step, then that's fine as well, if we feel that's safer for our circumstances. But we are making our way through the 21 jumps before we move on to the 21 wall balls or alternating thrusters, whichever version is better for our circumstances. But nice work so far. Let's breathe, let's focus. And hey, let's remember we have lots of different options Perhaps if we're jumping a lot and we determine, you know what, that step is better, we can throw some steps in. And we've got twin one already on these alternating thrusters here, getting low, pressing that out. Passing overhead. But nice work here. We got Mighty Mouse on these wall balls. Throwing, catching, throwing, catching. Iron Man Dean joining in on the thruster fun, getting low. Let's remember to get as low as we can each and every time. And Pippi as well on these thrusters. So practicing that overhead pass, getting more efficient with time. That is crucial here. And here goes twin one, done with the 21 of those thrusters and about to hit this Turkish getup. So especially if we're adding weight here, it is full focus that we want to see. Elbow, hand, hips, sweep the leg, lean, stand, and then we are focusing on the way back down as well. And that was 1 of 3 in this first round for twin one. Mighty Mouse doing the Mighty Mouse version of these get-ups. And let's switch arms each time. Mighty Mouse, we're doing 3 total in this first round. Overhead sit to stand. Pippi as well. Finishing off this Turkish get-up. And we realize, yeah, it's an odd number. We've got 3 total Turkish get-ups in this first round, but that's fine. We'll just remember to start on the other round next, on the other arm next round. And we've got Dean doing his favorite latest stands, doing 3 of these to finish off that first round. And we are on this, guys. Moving on to the second round, the round of 15 on this sumo deadlift high pull. And everyone is on track to finish within today's target window. These target windows are the best way to know if we've made the right choices in weights and movement options. If we pick the right weights and do the right things, then we're going to finish somewhere within that target window. Not too much over, not too much under, but right in that sweet spot. Twin one on these jumps here. Getting through it. Deep breath. And we are on this, guys. Getting through these jumps or steps, whatever is better for us. And let's remember, if we've got that rowing machine, this is as much legs as it is arms. We are driving with the legs. We are leaning back. We are punching that handle back in. And there goes Pippi joining in on these jumps. Mighty Mouse flying through these. She is already on the wall balls in this second round. I feel like we should make this harder for her somehow, but we'll just let her do her race. She is a ninja over there. But let's breathe, let's step, let's jump, let's get through this. Nice work here, guys. Getting low, pressing that out. Awesome work. Let's breathe. And Mighty Mouse on these weighted sit to stands, overhead weighted sit to stands. Crushing it. on these thrusters, getting low, pressing that out. And let's remember the deep breathing all throughout this process here, guys. And there goes twin one, finishing off these Turkish get-ups in round 2. Let's remember to start on that other arm in this round so we can balance things out. Hips up, sweep that leg, stand, and then back down. And then as we finish that second round, we are going to be racing into this last round of 9 here. So Pippi finishing off this Turkish get up, and then going to be moving into the last round of 9. Twin one, finishing off those 9. Mighty Mouse already on these jump overs in the 9. Dean finishing off that second round, going to be jumping into that 9 as well. So let's breathe, let's get through this, and we know what to do as we cross that finish line. We hit that buzzer, we yell time, we cheer on our Fit Crew family. So let's go crazy on this row. Let's still stay calm and focused on these jump overs and step overs. Let's respect each jump. We can fly through these wall balls. Mighty Mouse on these wall balls here. Twin one about to hit these thrusters. Deep breath, getting low, passing overhead. And Mighty Mouse on this last set of overhead sit to stands to finish things off. Pippi finishing off that row. But nice work here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Twin one on this last Turkish get up. And Mighty Mouse across the finish line. Halfway there, twin one almost done. Back to the ground. And time for twin one. Iron Man Dean. About to hit that latest stand, or he just finished? He just finished. Pippi going crazy on these thrusters. Let's cheer on Pippi here, guys. She was using that rower. Just a couple more reps here, and then one more Turkish get up to go. And then back down. And time for Pippi. Man, well, that one had us up and down and all over the place. But now we are at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do today is the seal, and that's where we're laying face down, and we are pushing up like this, letting those hips sink into the ground. If that's hard on our wrists, then we can do it off the elbows like this. And while we're here, let's hear some high-low buffalo. Let's hear first from twin one. If we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get those arms up and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo twin one?
I think my high was the sumo deadlift high pull. The low was I think doing the Turkish get up after the thrusters. Man, my arms were like, I had to really pay attention to keep them stable because they were shaky. And then the buffalo was I think, I don't know, just that I was able to finish that. I'm happy I got it done.
Most definitely understand the feeling. Lots of high skill movement, lots of movements that cause some intentional interference with one another, but that required us to really think about our strategy and how much we wanted to push that pace. But good job, Twin One. Let's go ahead and switch from the seal into the frog. So we're gonna get those hips back, knees out to the side, sink it into this, opening up those hips. And while we're over here, let's hear from Pippi. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're gonna get those hands down and pull back like this. So what is your high-low buffalo, Pippi?
Ooh, I was definitely getting to use my new rower. That was great. Low was probably the Turkish getup, you know, just getting the coordination. It's funny how one side, you seem to do better at than the other, but that's good. That's why we do both sides, right? And buffalo was, wow, I forgot what a total body workout that row is. I mean, I felt it in my abs, my legs, my arms. You think of more of your arms, but wow, that was really, really good. I felt that. So I did the scaling, thanks, like you said, watching my time. So I did 15, 12, 9 because I was going to go way over for the 21. So I scaled it that way. Thank you for that, because that felt like I was keeping my flow. So.
And good job paying attention to that briefing and the stimulus and making the wise choice to scale and fall within the time that we were looking for. So good job, Pippi. Let's go ahead and we're going to move on to supine twist. We got the one knee into the chest, and then we are twisting and pulling down with that opposite hand like this. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to twist toward the right, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was doing the roll on standing position. I didn't have a low, but my buffalo was also how I was able to keep the ball steady, throwing it on the wall. Because I have done it in the past, and I would lose the ball, but I was able to be steady. Especially with the first one with the round of 21. I just concentrate on it, and I was able to keep a steady pace with it. So that was surprising. So it was a good workout.
Most definitely. You rose to the challenge. So proud of all the progress you're making with all the craziness that we throw at you, which means we just have to make it crazier and crazier each time. So good job, Mighty Mouse. And let's finish with the supine twist on this side. We got the other knee into the chest, twisting the other way, pulling down like this. And let's now hear from Iron Man Dean. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we are twisting the other way, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Dean?
The same as Tammy, really, Pippi, because she kind of summed it up really with everything together. It was a good workout. The low was, I need to learn how to do those Russian get-ups. It was quite confusing for my little brain to see it on camera, so I'll have to go away and practice those. The buffalo, I enjoyed the workout.
Yeah, but you know what? You seemed like you had a good amount of fun just doing those laying, get to stand-ups like you're used to doing. And so with more practice and more study, that's how we continue to make progress in every aspect of this program. But thank you so much, Dean. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what's left, this sweaty selfie. Because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fit crew.
Good.
Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.